It's that time. Yes, another Friday night in the house here. Lots to talk about. Got Disavowed on deck with me here. And you never know who's gonna join in here with us. How you doing there, Disavowed?
These are the times that try men's souls, my brother.
You got that right. Yeah, lots to talk about. As always, you never know who's going to jump in here and join us along the way. Want to give a shout out to everybody out there tuned in. Friday nights, we are airing across the board, multiple platforms. We've been on YouTube for years, and we've now migrated over to DLive, where we can speak a whole lot freer, and I'm over there a whole lot more because of that when we're digging into certain stuff and stories. So make sure that if you like these live streams and the information, you are checking me out on DLive as well. There are replays over there, and you can click on the replay tab. Even if I'm live or whatever, you can click on it, and it will fire up a replay from the beginning, and you can get updated with all the information in case you missed it. Also, late in the evening, I like to drop a replay for all my late nighters, my third shifters, all my people out there that want to get that information, but it's late. So around midnight, I always start a replay of that day's stream if I've streamed, just for the FYI. Man, everybody showing love. Already got 1.5 thousand in the house over here on DLive. Wow. Coming up on 1,000 over there on YouTube. Much love to all you guys. I know we got a lot going on, and I want to thank all of you that send in information my way, because I'm going to relay it here, get it out to everyone else. And we got a lot going on here. I mean, if you're not following me on Twitter, please follow me on Twitter. Even if you don't like it, it's a news aggregator for us. I hate Jack too and all this stuff, but we use it as a snappy news source, and that's what it is. Soon as stuff's breaking, before any website's kicking out information, they're tweeting it, and that's where it's breaking first. Just know that. That's why we use it like that. And I'm tweeting out information, images, video clips, and all kinds of stuff that you're not going to find on YouTube or even DLive. So that's where the breaking news is at, and don't forget that. All right. Let's start off here. I got just a handful of smaller stories, and then lots to talk about with everything else that's happening. First off, we got a SWAT standoff in northeast El Paso. A man barricaded in his home with a gun. This has been ongoing. They responded around 5:30 p.m. This is the 5700 block of Arrowhead Drive. Okay, so let me see who we have here. Hello?
Who do we have here? How about some Ozark love?
Is it a mic?
Is it
The moving man.
Yes. Yes. What's up, gentlemen?
That's soon to be a new state man.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Indiana, to be
just
exact.
just getting the show started here, brother. What's going on with you?
Yeah. Nothing. I'm good. Taking a small break from what I've been doing. My health ran home to check on the family real quick, so I have a little bit of time.
All right. Well, I'm just getting into this first story here. Basically, they got a SWAT standoff in El Paso, Texas, and it's been ongoing. At first, I thought this might have been associated with quarantine, self-quarantines, or something like that. Doesn't seem to be the case. No mention of that right now. There's been no updates, but it's an ongoing situation, so I just want to throw it out there in case we see more of it or anything come of it here throughout the stream. If you missed it today, we had North Korea firing several objects. I seen a tweet that said multiple. The initial said one, and this is talking about at least one. It was believed to be a missile off of the East Coast, and it was falling somewhere near Japan's exclusive economic zone, or the EEZ. We've witnessed this before in the past. And in the past, I've also noticed a spike in Bitcoin when he's fired off rockets. And I've said it even before many times. And I think we've had just that today. I want to thank Jay Rockin that just dropped the Ninja Guinea a bit ago over there on D Live. Crazy times, stay safe, and much love. Yo, thanks for that to the fullest, man. That's appreciated to the fullest. Sauce in the house. So I didn't give out a whole bunch of shout outs, man. I've got my mind set on these stories. I'll give some shout outs here later when we check out and sign off. Moving to the next one here. I'm going to mute you up, Mike, for a minute. U.S. military successfully test launches a hypersonic glide body. Now, I find this very interesting because we've talked about Russia and their advancements here very recently in their technology. They have had a lot of bragging going on out there saying that we've got this weapon that no one can stop. Hypersonic glider. They've even put it on display and they said, now stop this. You know, like trying to pull someone's, bluff that they don't have something. Thank you, Rob Bedorman. When they launch these things and they come down in an area, they break into 100, 200 pieces. They're damn near impossible to hit, even with your Iron Dome stuff that they talk about. It's high-grade technology. So now the U.S. military acting like they're just now test launching this for the first time for the public's eye. I'm here to tell you, they've been doing stuff like this for a while. This is just for the public eye. This whole show was. And since I'm on YouTube, I can't play the clip, or I would. See, that's another reason why I'm over here on D-Live so much. They respect the right that we can cover it as a news aggregate, or cover it in a news sense, talking about it. And it's not ripping off the copyright or anything like that, and someone can't hit us with some crap false claims. Just like there's jokes out there, like HMAC. And much love to everybody else over there on YouTube. And all my mods over there holding it down. Funny. Ambiguous. It is. I know it's hitting the fan, and thank you for that diamond as well. Dan Henderson on YouTube says, do you think the asteroid by April 29th has anything to do with it that's set to hit Earth? It ain't set to hit Earth, man. Really? Do we got a Torello 3 running around out there again? Every few years, Nibiru is coming back around. The Dark Star is coming back around, and someone's preaching it. And years ago, they were trying to get everyone to run to where Mike's at. The Ozarks, all loaded up with their guns. And I had to shut them down on a radio show live with common sense. I had to ask these fools, has it perturbed any damn planets? Have you seen Saturn tilt because of it? Any other moons get thrown off the orbit? And you hadn't. And it shot their crap right out of the water. And it was crap because nothing came. Okay, so we've got some stuff that's always going on, flying by. And yeah, they never talk about it. And there's a lot going on in space. But as far as hitting the planet, if you've got some information or a video on that, Dabu7@yahoo.com. I'm not going to rule it out. It's always a possibility. But send it my way and I'll check it out, man. Bacon Frazzle, what's up? Sahin thanks for the follow. Wish YouTube would show me the new followers. Wish
welcome.
Wish YouTube
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Wish YouTube would let me host too. I mean, y'all slacking. What's up, Lilies in the house? Thank you. All right. Let me get to some key points here with this news. We're gonna start diving into the main points here with everything going on. If you've been watching my Twitter today, a lot of images of military movement, trains carrying equipment, many different places. Troops on the move, many different places. We know that there's going to be an uptick in the troop movement. Today, we had witnessed Maryland. In Maryland, they were setting up at FedEx Field. At first, I'm like, hold on. They're setting up tents there. And I was like, they're at a stadium. I was like, I remember when I was in Baltimore and I caught them setting up between the two stadiums down there. And that was surreal because when we were on our way up there was reports that there was military in buses, in all white buses with tinted windows. And people were like, oh, it's conspiracy theory. So we're on the way up there and I get right next to this damn bus and I look over and the driver, you can see the driver, he's all camoed out. I was like, there they are. And then another one had the window down and he was looking out of it and I could see his camo. I was like, there they are. I was like, there's troops. So bus after bus after bus we passed. We get up to Baltimore and I'm cruising around. We check in, all this stuff. I get back out and I'm starting to pry around the city and I make my way down there and I look and I see all the buses pulling in. So I followed them and they pulled in right between the stadiums and I just pulled in with them. We pulled in down and around next to them and I pulled right over when they did. And I hopped out with my camera and boom, as soon as the bus door opened up, troops came off. And for all them people that wanted to say it's conspiracy theory, they got proven wrong. No, it's real. They were up to something. Just like right now, they're up to something. Huge operation, global operation underway, if you haven't noticed. And they're looking to lock this thing down from what it looks like, at least 2 weeks to a month, if not longer. By all accounts, it's already begun in this country. Did you just sneeze?
Who, me?
I don't know what's going on. I'm hearing some weird noises coming out from your end.
It was quiet here. It's quiet as a mouse here.
Same here.
Okay. Well, I've had this problem before, and I don't know what it is. That's why I just mute you sometimes, Mike, is because there's some kind of weird feedback that comes through, and I can't explain it. It's just...
If it helps you, I heard it too.
Yeah. I'm not trying. Mike already knows. We talked about it before. I just mute him up, and he just chimes
I'm on
in.
I'm on a different device now, though. You shouldn't be doing that.
Well, it is.
I just shifted it around and moved the speaker off the windowsill, so maybe that'll stop it. My
Cool.
apologies.
All good, my brother.
Sorry,
good.
but still a happy
Mike's
Friday.
packing bags to do. This is crazy. Most people would be trying to run to the Ozarks in this instance, but Mike's running out of the Ozarks because.
Thanks for reminding me.
But
yeah,
it's no. There's some lessons. Hold on a second, man. There's some lessons that can be learned here. You're coming up on springtime. When Mike got dumped in the Ozarks this time last year, it was into like a crazy wilderness. There was huge ticks out there that were all over the place. They were infested. There was talk of all this Lyme disease. There was ticks everywhere. It was like a huge. He said it's already beginning again. It was an unforeseen, massive issue that people running to the Ozarks are going to get nailed with. Plus, we come to find out all the major deer, the elk, in that area have to get tested because of a huge disease. And we find it very odd that in one of the most remote places that you could go, which is where he's at, it's the highest percentage of deer being messed up.
Some of you are probably saying to yourselves that, we have to do that in my area too, but you have to understand that Newton County in Arkansas is ground zero in the entire country. There's no place in this country that has more cases of chronic wasting disease in the deer and elk than Newton County, Arkansas. So
there you go.
Very, very
that is very suspect to me that the number one spot for fucking people to go and bug out to is hit and tainted. It seems they did this. I know how they operate, man. When you've been doing this as long as I have, day in and day out, man, you see the game we're in. When you live enough days on this rock, you realize we're all slaves to these people. It's not a joke, it's real talk. Okay? And these same people have now got us in a conundrum where they're shutting down our entire lives, if you haven't noticed. And it's affecting people's jobs now. It's getting swept out from underneath of them left and right. People are in areas that are locked down. As a matter of fact, Illinois just put down a lockdown, and when you're in a lockdown situation, they're going to start pulling people over left and right. I'm warning you. Okay? There's going to be checkpoints. As a matter of fact, Pennsylvania, we're going to get to a link here in a minute. They're doing just that, and they started doing it tonight. I tweeted it out. 8 p.m. they started to enforce this. Anyone that's out on the road, they could pull them over now at any given time and use this as an excuse to pull any of you over and ask you, what are you doing? Where are you going? Show me some ID, and you better be heading in the direction that you're saying, and everything better check out. And if you don't have an essential job, the job excuse is not going to work. People are finding this out the hard way, I'm sure, already. We're not hearing of it yet. But
well, I'm going to find out. Well, I'm going to find out, because one of the things that they say is essential travel in addition to people that have to go to work. And I think I fall under the essential travel category. Now, I'm most likely going to be leaving Monday around lunchtime. I'm going to pick the trailer up real early on Monday morning. I will be prepared to live if I hit any checkpoints or anything like that. I set the truck up with a CD with dual antennas this week. It's some stuff that I've had for a long time that I've been meaning to hook up, and I just never got it hooked up, but I got it done this week. So I fall under that essential travel category. I should be traveling from Monday to Tuesday. I should be arriving Tuesday afternoon, and I should be able to have the trailer back at a certain time. If I hit any spots that they won't let me through because the city's on lockdown or the town is on lockdown, or
well, the Mike's going to be letting us know. He's going to be tweeting it to us. He's going to be calling us. He's going to be zooming us like, yo, I'm shut down at the border. So if that happens, Mike is going to know he's got to pass through the Illinois region.
Yeah. Missouri as well, and into Indiana. So I might take the southern route and cut through Kentucky. I don't know.
Hey, we're open right now.
And real quick, before we get too far from me leaving in the Ozarks, I want to say one quick thing. Jasper, my closest town, the place that everybody feels safe going, we now have our first confirmed case of coronavirus. That person is on lockdown. It is also, and that's in Newton County. It's also confirmed in Boone County, in Harrison, the county north of me, and Searcy County, the county east of me. So no matter how remote I am, this one's making its way in.
All right, good updates. Good updates there, man. Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, here we go. The NYC Mayor de Blasio says that we are now the epicenter of the crisis. And I'm going to share a map with you here later. If you guys don't know, or if you're not aware, Washington is now dwarfed by New York City. New York City has overtaken everything. It's massive, massive. This is a staged event. This same de Blasio, 2 weeks ago, there were tweets and images put out of him telling people, he was going onto the trains, telling people, keep going, go on about your business, go on about your life. And when I had a sick feeling when he was doing it. And I know how these people operate. And I'm like, okay, you're encouraging these people to get out and to keep being next to one another. They're encouraging all this. Just the same as Boris Johnson said out of the UK, it's undesirable to stop this. We want herd immunity. He admitted this. And they're so arrogant that when they do this, you have got to be paying attention. They'll flat out tell you what's happening. Right there. Okay? And he did it. And the fact that he looks at the people like they're a herd is sick. Okay?
I hate that.
Check this out.
I hate it.
Staffers for Vice President Pence test positive. The White House says no close contact. I'm not so sure I can believe anything there, but that's getting damn close to our vice. And the president, for this matter, multiple times. So, nothing is always what it seems to be. Okay, keep that in mind too. China reports no local infections for the second day in a row. I'm going to show you how China's lying here in a minute. The global cases have surpassed 250,000. So that, per the numbers they're giving us, which can't be trusted as well, especially out of China, that's what they're saying officially out here. The NYC cases top 7K. That is why they are in the forefront here at the front of this, because they've hit that point. Now, let me start to shift through some of these things here. This is an alert and a heads up for all my people out there. Across the board, Thank you, Cody Nelson. I appreciate that donation on YouTube. Don't see much of them over there, but I appreciate it. Appreciate all the love. People do keep it positive over there. And of course, everybody out there fighting this right now, man, I know it's stressful. Man, we're in this together. If there's one thing I can say to you, do not lose your humanity. Okay? Organized crime is happening. And what is happening? We got cats that are running around with these masks on. Dust masks or corona masks, whatever you want to call them. N95s, and they're robbing people. I feel you, Serenity. They're robbing people. So heads up. I don't want to see people, see some suspect activity, someone feeling strange, they've got masks on and something like that. Just be on your P's and Q's right now, man. They are letting criminals out of jails across the country and around the world. It is insane. Letting criminals out, and they've stopped policing all types of stuff. Burglar alarms, hit and runs, intoxications, and fights in the streets. They said they're just not responding. Every state's different, but they're doing this slowly. You might as well look at the United States as each state being its own little independent country here. As we're seeing all the countries around the world making little moves, that's how it's happening here independently. Okay? Now, there's been talk, will Trump do this? Will Trump do that? I'm going to talk about some differences here in the end of what our troops can do and what they can't do as well here in a minute. But the police are what they're using and what they've always used on us. Out in the streets all the time. It's the police beating on us all the time. I've been there, not as a protester, as independent journalism for everyone here, eyes and ears on the ground, and they've beat me down, thrown shotguns in my face, pepper sprayed me multiple times, throwing repercussion grenades right in front of me, and it's all been caught on film. But yet they don't get in no trouble for misuse of all those weapons, on people like me and other innocent people. They're told to do it. They're pushed to do it. And that's how sick this is. These are people that took an oath to serve and protect, and time again they use them they sick them on us. And it's time to turn the tables on that. One thing I learned in running these streets all these years, from Ferguson to Cleveland to the Baltimores to the DCs, all over the place. When the National Guard gets called in and they get sicked on the people, at least in my experience, they always pulled back. They did it right in front of me. Literally, like the two leader dudes on each side of me, and stopped and said, "We ain't doing this. Fall back." That was Ferguson. First time it ever happened. I seen it. The other time was in Baltimore, in the middle of the street, after I got pepper sprayed. Convoy went by and they opened up a hole and they stopped and they looked at us and it's like, "Oh crap, y'all gonna jump out on us too?" And he smacked the truck and he made it go. And we went running. We were following them. We were chasing them down the street. They opened up a hole, a gap, and we just took off behind them. All they had to do is slam on them brakes, jump out, and they had us, hogtied us. They didn't. They just kept pushing, and we just kept on pushing behind them, dude. I'm telling you, it's a different mentality. Those military boys, they've got it set in them different, especially the National Guard ones. It's different. That serve and protect is different. It's setting them different than these police. I'm telling you, I'm warning you. I know it firsthand, and many of you know what I'm talking about. Okay? So a salute to all them cats on the front line, but look what they're doing. They're taking our first and only line of defense in this country, our National Guard, and they are putting them in harm's way all over the place. In New York City to California, coast to coast, peppered all in between and just filling up daily. And I don't see no masks. I see no protective gear on these people. They're face to face with every car. What are you going to do when all of our last line of defense is in quarantine? Because that's what they're setting them up for. Okay, nope, hold on. I got a story here where it's already happened. Matter of fact, I'll wait and I'll get to that. It's down the line here. But I got a story showing that it's already happened. Did you say something, Mike? Mike?
Well, I feel weird. I got my so what I've got planned is I've got rain boots, the slickers, steel toe ones, and I've got a black and dark blue rain suit. I'm gonna wear the pants. I'm not gonna wear the jacket while I'm driving, but I do have mask, goggles, and protective headgear that I can wear if I have to run into a bunch of people. And weird, I was saying this earlier to you guys, that it just feels weird. It's surreal. It's like I almost feel like I'm doing too much, but I'm not. You know, and for getting gas, like I'm going to have to make sure I don't stop at like a travel center. Try to find, you know, one of the back roads or smaller ones off the highway to go to. It's just weird. It's almost like a movie.
We have police here investigating a new disturbing trend. Thank you, Chaos Order. They're saying that they're investigating a disturbing trend of teens coughing on produce. And that is a major problem there. When you've got foolish people going in and doing this, and I don't know what's going on. If there's some buffering, it's showing me full internet. My other okay, I just listened to the whole piece back off my other computer, and nothing. It played fine, so I don't. I mean. Give a refresh, please, guys. If there's some lag, that's all I can say. I'm doing everything I can here. Mind you, the other night, right when I was in the middle of everything, they completely chopped me down. But there's a lot of testing going on right now. A lot of observing of stuff right now. In PA, Governor Wolf says that we will use state police to enforce the rules. And this is what's going on. So if you're going through Pennsylvania right now at all, know that they're in the lockdown mode. And they are using the police to pull people over left and right in there. Now, last night we were talking about the different places, essential jobs and non-essential jobs across the country. And there's a list here. Pull it up. I'm going to copy it. Try to copy this and drop this in the chat. And I've got an update out of YouTube. I just dropped that link for you guys in the YouTube chat and D-Live chat. Let me read this. Cody Nelson. He says he is an NYC essential worker. He says we have zero protection. His co-worker tested positive. We are ordered to keep working. Dude, this is the setup of a lifetime. It's like the setup of 1,000 years. I mean, this is like some Nazi shit. I swear to you. This is an operation. I mean, if you guys can't see it for that, you keep making excuses. They've sold us out, man. They've done this together. World leaders, country after country. They are observing this whole thing being rolled out. It's affecting every economy the same. You can fall for your mainstream media crap and keep listening to the propaganda. Step back and see the bigger picture. I'm telling you. When you put in enough days on this rock and you see it enough times, you will eventually awaken. For those that have just been blinded forever, what you stick in your head in the sand forever has done a lot of damage to you. Okay? It's making it hard to soak this all up right now. It's why you've got to stay open-minded, use discernment, and stay sharp in this whole thing. We are being played. They're pulling the carpet out from underneath of us. I call this big beta. I call it big beta because I think that this is the biggest beta test we've ever seen. So when you ask me, is this it? Is this the one? I say no. Okay? I hope I'm right. But this isn't the one. Okay? I'm trying to keep the faith that we can turn the curve somewhere in the summer here, whatever's projected, and get things back on track. But if not, they're locking this place down, and your life is about to never be the same again. And some people can just act like it ain't gonna mess with them, ain't gonna touch them. It's gonna keep on going about your business till you get pulled over, get a ticket because they didn't lock down your shit. You didn't want to listen, you didn't want to accept it, and then you feel the wrath of the beast, because that's what it is. Using your own people that took an oath to serve and protect against you. Okay? Until all these cops and all of our soldiers get sick and all that. And right around that time, when all that happens, large scale, who do you think they're going to call? Not Ghostbusters.
I knew you were going to say that.
The UN sitting right at the border that's been there the whole time. And when they come in, bet your ass, they'll have the proper gear. You see how that works? And they're going to come here in the name of peace and helping, like they always say they do. And half these lemmings are going to fall for it. And we've warned about it over and over again. They make the conditions around you so bad that when the UN trucks come down through there, take you to a FEMA camp, people will go diving into the back of them because they think they have food and taking them to a hot shower. Yeah, they're taking you to a shower, all right. You people that always laughed at all this stuff, man. I'm sure we are buffering some. I keep it real. It seems to be the only tactic they've got out here. Try to buff me off. Or something. I mean, come on. I'm top tier over here. On both platforms I'm streaming on. And let me see.
Dude, I've been hanging around doing this for you for 5 years now, man. And I need a calculator to figure out how many times they've cut you off in the middle of the stream. It happens so much. And it's uncanny how it's always right when we're talking about something real.
Well, I muted out as you were just saying that and was just listening again to my other computer, playing it all back, and everything's solid. So I don't, that's the only indication that I've got there. Guys, I'm just going to keep on trucking, man. Look, let's do this to give you an idea of what's going to get shut down and what's not. When it comes to jobs, these are the ones that they're labeling essential. Those that are in grain farming, that are in vegetable, melon farming, fruit and tree nut farming, greenhouse, nursery, and all that, cattle ranching and farming, hog and pig farming, poultry and egg production, animal agriculture, timber tract operations. All right, timber tract operations is a no. This is where it switches from yeses to nos. Forestries, logging, no. Fishing, yes. Hunting and trapping, yes. Anything with forestry, no. Coal mining, no. Metal ore mining, anything in the mining or quarrying here, no. Anything in construction, no. Residential building construction, anyone that's roofers, it does plumbing, electrical, anything connected, like all the contractors out there across the board that you see every day in all these different divisions here of contracting, building equipment contractors, building finishing contractors, specialty trade contractors. None of them are going to be able to work. Animal food manufacturing will. Dairy products will. Animal slaughtering and processing will. Beverage manufacturing will. Tobacco manufacturing will not.
Yeah.
Fiber, yarn, and threads will not. Fabric mills will not. Textile will not. Knitting places, apparel accessories, footwear manufacturing, leather places, sawmills, and wood preservation. They will all be shut down.
Wow.
Basic chemical manufacturing will stay open for resins, for synthetic rubbers, and artificial synthetic fibers. Pharmaceuticals and medical manufacturing will stay open. painters, anyone in adhesive manufacturing will not be allowed. This is just like a roll of the dice. Like, oh shit, what if, from here on out, from this point in time in history, after we live through this, you bet your ass that people's jobs for the longest time will be based on what is considered an essential job, because they will never want to get caught slipping like this again.
Hey,
Yeah, they're going to control it all.
Do you understand this? This is what is happening here. This is the elimination worldwide of small business. This is taking away everything. I'm telling you, man. This is a global operation underway. There is no other way about it. By who? Some people that are just now waking up, you're going to ask a million questions. You should have been tuning in every Friday night for the past 10 years. As we've been covering this, telling people to get ready and have a plan. There's no way, last minute, you're going to get everything all figured out. Your best bet is to just have a survival plan at this point. Make sure you got your basics, food, water, shelter, and your people, and a plan to meet somewhere. Okay, because when they lock this thing down like they're already doing, and you got friends and family far away, you could be away from them for some time. Okay, and you can get stuck out of this country like several people are right now, even our own buddies. You don't want to be there.
Mm-mm.
Hey, Dave, I got a
yes.
breaking update related to that. So specifically, that's generally what he's talking about as far as that's what we're looking at for everybody anywhere. But specifically in regards to Pennsylvania, the governor of Pennsylvania has just announced that he will be delaying the enforcement, demanding all non-life-sustaining businesses close, and the enforcement is to begin at 8 a.m. on Monday the 23rd.
Nazi Germany. Worse. They didn't do this to the people in Nazi Germany. Not to their people. They did this to other people. History tells us what they did to the Jews, not to their own people. This is what they're doing to their own people. This is a
In the
ploy.
digital age.
Worldwide.
They're doing this in the digital age.
They're going to wipe away your fiat
Yeah.
currency. I swear to you, I call this big beta because I feel like this is a beta test and not the big one. I got a story we're going to get to in a minute where they're about to release new clean money. And it tells me, it's not time yet. Because when it's time, and the time can come quick at any time. But when the time comes, they're going to shift this to all digital. When that happens, it's on, it's over. Okay? We got John over on YouTube. Thank you for that donation. He says utility forestry is essential, especially with the blizzard heading across the country. Who's going to turn the lights back on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
question. my
especially out here. Especially out here, you have to be familiar. You have to be familiar with forestry to walk these lines out.
brother. I
Here.
ride with a chainsaw on my four-wheeler, bro. I mean,
Yeah, you're gonna hook a power line back up though. That's what I'm talking about.
You're right.
Power.
No, this is where we've got a plan.
Utilities on national park land. There's so many houses on the national park below me. I mean, it's unreal. My property borders the Ozark National Forest. It encompasses, 25% of this land because it runs along one side. And I'll tell you what, they shut utilities down in there on that land. There's so many people that if a snowstorm comes through,
They've sold
like y'all
us out,
said.
man. This is it.
It's
We've
done,
said it a
man.
million times, but this is it, man. Problem is, we're all separated. They got us right where they want us. You understand this? The best way to pick people off is to have them not together in any groups bigger than 3, like they're saying now, and in your homes. They go home to home to home. They pick them off. You can never make a stand together. This is their wet dream. I've told you this from Jump Street. Lock them down, do all this stuff, take away their freedoms, crash their economies, do away with their fiat currency, do away with all the small business, take away all of everyone's 401k, which they just robbed everybody of, like stripped them in half, mowed them down. It's going to continue. And it's all ploy, just like it was during the Great Depression when J.P. Morgan Chase and all them got together. And they did the same thing. They put a plot and a ploy together to rob the country and screw the world. They did it. And it's known. If you do not know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And their offspring are at it again. To get us again. So your grandchildren can be screwed slaves. Because they're going to get us again. You going to stand for that? You ain't doing nothing else. What, you going to stay locked in your home for months on end now? Because they told you so? You're going to use your own people, your own police that are supposed to protect you. They're going to use them against you. You better draw the line in the sand somewhere. Because I know some good old boys are. They're going to have to smoke us out of these fucking mountains.
Yep. No pun intended.
Anyhow, I'm going to go on to the next bit of news. Some of y'all talk it. Some of us walk it. To the death. You watch. Governor Ron DeSantis issuing an executive order here on, listen to this. We talked about jobs. He's stopping all non-essential medical procedures. So this goes beyond just jobs and things like that. If somebody has something that they need done and they dub it non-essential, and I can't tell you what that is right now because I don't have a list. But if they dub it non-essential, you're out of luck.
I want to know more about real life things.
And
like
that's Florida.
Gas station employees and stuff like that. Truck drivers.
Truck drivers are allowed to keep on going. I seen something out of California. Somebody shared it tonight. It was a piece of paper that was a permit. It was permitting through their company. They said that through their government, the beast, they got permission to be able to allow their employees to keep on trucking, and that's what they're doing. But they've got a procedure. They got to show ID. They got to. Go ahead.
Does that mean that oil tankers are still flowing? That they're still floating?
You know, I don't have all that list of information like that, man.
That's good. That's good information for right now because movement is key. And when they start talking about only essential people can go out, and we've heard reports of them getting ready to potentially take over all of the food and food distribution, then wouldn't that mean that they would also take on the oil industry and handle all
they
gas
take over
rationing
everything,
as well?
man. When they signed over the NDAA, and Trump already declared what last week it was a national emergency. When he did that, that's all he had to do. That was it. And then people are not seeing the writing on the wall. It's done. He already did it. NDAA, and they already re-signed it. Well, no one was looking. It's already in place. The NDAA gives them access to everything in this country. So last couple days, one of the governors had put out a piece of legislation or paper, a warning saying, look, we can seize private property if we want to. And people are like, what? And the fact is, they can because of the crap that they've pushed. Real quick here, we get to Knock here on YouTube. I appreciate that. Or Knock. It's Kaka Silva. It says Knock 50. I've never seen that. What is that? It doesn't say like dollars. Is it North Korea? Knock? I don't know. I don't know what it is. It says Dabu. What do you do if they say everyone going to take a vaccine in prison? Well, if they ain't vaccinating me, they're going to have to kill me. You hear me? Dear Lord God in heaven, do you hear me? Justin Knight will not take the mark of the beast. They'll kill me here. Have mercy on my soul and everyone else that makes that same choice. And let me survive the second death. When they all die, the second death. Which is your soul and your energy when it's weighed. And that's what's coming in the end. Right after harvest. And the signs are showing, so to speak. Okay. I'm not taking it. I suggest you don't neither. This is everything we ever warned about. Some people think it was a fairy tale. And I know it seems so surreal right now. Like it's a movie. But it's go time. If you ever had a plan, you implement it. Because if anything you learn from this, you go full throttle with this. Like this is the real deal. And hope that we come out of this where everywhere you go is not a lockdown coming up. Okay? Because this is what's going to happen when they start pulling people over. And you're all stuck everywhere. This could happen for months. Like in China. Look what's going on in Italy now. People are going to get stir crazy, no doubt. But then people are going to have places they need to go. People are going to need to get out to do this and that. And they're going to get caught up. And we're sitting ducks when we're stuck alone in homes, man. Yes, Colzia, thank you very much. He says, much love. The Dow went down 913 points today. Stock market hasn't been this volatile since 1987. Yes, and the last time it showed the swings in the percentage drops like this, the reflection was the Depression. So, and they've already said that. They've flat out warned that it's around the corner. They ain't keeping it a secret. They're like, another huge drop, we're going into a depression. That's what that Munchin or whatever the hell his name is. I can never say his name. But dude, our treasurer. Off to the next one, man. I've got a lot to go. Oh my gosh. We're ready to be here. It's 10 till 10, and I've still got like 20 tabs open. Hey, information's flowing. We're just going to let it flow.
Amen.
Silo, thank you very much. And a much love to all you guys out there. Detroit police, 5 officers diagnosed with this. 152 quarantined after this. You see what I'm saying? You start quarantining your front line and they're gone. I'm telling you, the UN will come in, hazmat it up. For sure. So, officers and 152 people quarantined around that. Around 5 officers. No telling how many people they stopped, had interactions with, and I'm sure every single person they had cited or came into contact with was quarantined. I guarantee you that's why the number's so high. So all the people that they had contact with, they went through all them tickets, and then they went back to all them houses, to all them people, and showed up and was like, look, you've got a quarantine. Thank you, Silas, so much, man. Italy calls in the military now to enforce the coronavirus, and they're using them as police. It's not the United States. They have a different set of rules. Posse Comitatus and all that stuff they don't have those things over in these other countries. So they're using the military to enforce coronavirus lockdown. I mean, it's full blown in Italy. So, 627 people.
Just a friendly reminder, though, that Posse Comitatus can be suspended by the president in a national emergency. And
here's the thing,
we're in
though.
a national emergency.
If they federalize this whole thing, right now they're allowing the states and the governors to control the National Guard. If they federalize this and they take control of our National Guard troops, which they claim they could do in a false swoop, which they're basically doing it right now, ordering them around, what that does is that takes away, they cannot use them for policing. Know that. In the way that it's written, they cannot use them for policing. That's against the rules of the whole game right there, to use the military to police its own citizens. They cannot do that. And
right.
That's basically essentially what I think they're trying to sidestep. They're trying to use them in so many other ways. And if they can't, if they're a problem, why not get them tainted and then remove them out of the picture? And bring in the guys that will do it our way. The UN. You see? I'm telling you. I know how they think. And the UN's been sitting at the border for damn near 6 months or more. Just sitting there.
They're in charge of the Mexican military. They were
put in. Now maybe you all know why. Now maybe the whole world knows why. 6 months ago they came out and said, see, all these actions, when you look back, shows this whole world stage knew this was coming. All of them. And they prepared accordingly. Okay? You could get caught in a couple headlines. Oh, they're saying that China did it, suing them. Or they're saying that the United States bioweapon. Like, the hell with that crap. These world leaders are in this together. I swear to you, you're still sleeping. If you're thinking anything different, man. Boogeyman says 1776. Yeah, 2020. We'll see what happens here. Well, NYC. Vehicles all over the place. If you check out my Twitter, you'll see it as well. Baltimore. I've never seen them in NYC specifically like this. But I have seen them heavy like this in Baltimore and in other states. Baltimore, like I said, it was during the Freddie Gray riots. And we were up there. And they went between the stadiums and up underneath the highway. You couldn't see them that good. I drove up on the highway and I looked down and I'm like, dude, they are like in the perfect spot. They are like in the perfect hiding spot. Like you would have to bomb the whole highway here just to get to them first and foremost. And there's no way to get down to them off the highway at that point. They had the best spot. Obviously, they had scouted it out and they set up shop.
I'll be right back.
All right. That right there could have been a test run in itself back then. the way they handled the whole thing. Because when I was in Baltimore, then I kept asking myself, I was like, dude, why is there like 5 choppers in the sky all day, all night, just sitting there? And it's the truth. I was downtown, walked out of a building, got something to eat, got in my car, and remember I looked up to the sunroof, up in the sky, and there's just a chopper way up there, just right above me, directly. I just sat back as the clouds are going by, staring at him. He just sat there in the same spot. They just sat there like still. And I was like, dude, man. At night, they were there. And it was like they were watching us. You could feel it. And you could feel it when we all took off running in the protest in the streets. You could hear the choppers moving at night in the darkness, but you could not see them. You talk about an eerie feeling. That's back when I decided I needed a drone. And a bunch of other tools. I was hiding in trees and everything else, man. They busted me down there, pulled me down out of it. But, dude, it's what we do. In this instance, though, we can't do that. No one can be out anywhere. I mean, really, we are all the journalists at this point. We are all our own eyes and ears. I'm trying to serve as being the person that can kick it out to a collective. If you've got something, you can get it to me. I try to get it to the bigger audience here, man. The seat that I sit in. And I live and breathe this. And I feel, honestly, this is why I was made. Get in here and fight this fight against the beast. 2020. I've said it over and over in my videos. Always seen it. It's prime time. I didn't know this was going to happen. Didn't foresee none of this crap coming, but this may just be the beginning. So NYC, people startled, seeing troops in the streets. The governor bans gatherings now of any size.
I'm back.
Any size.
Any size.
You don't have to echo me. If you got 4 kids?
Wait, what if you got 4 kids? Now you got
It's not a gathering. That's your house. That's your household family. I get the question.
But what if you guys want to go out?
You can't. Everything's fucking shut down. You know that. Everything non-essential is shut down. Everything. Theaters,
So how are they doing
casinos, bowling alleys.
I guess they're not doing takeout then.
What?
Weren't there some places doing takeout? They were allowed to do takeout.
They're not going to they don't want 20 people walking in. They're going to want one person to walk in and order, and that's the whole reason. They're not allowed to have people inside the building. They don't want all the people in the building. If that was the case, they'd just let them all sit down. The whole point is to keep them out of the building. Right? You ain't been out those for me. What you get out and you see some of these places that are shut down.
Like fishing? So what about like fishing? What if you want to go down to the creek with your family?
Dude, if it's non-essential, dude, they're not going to let you.
What if you're out of meat and you want to go
What is
down
the
to the
meat?
lake?
Why you keep throwing non-essential things out there? It's got to be
But
essential.
what if it's essential for you, though, is what I'm saying. What if you're trying to
Bruh.
feed yourself?
You can try to argue with the cop with this shit however you want. All right, I'm here to tell you it ain't gonna fly. Once the shit gets locked down, they're gonna ticket you, or they're gonna take your shit and probably take you to jail.
I think there's some people that might stand there and defend their right to be able to walk down.
They're gonna hog tie them since they're not listening to this. I'm just gonna tell you how it's going down since we see what's happening in other places. And then they're going to say, look at this guy. He didn't want to listen. We just had to beat him down, hog tie him. His name's Mike Robertson. I'm just kidding here. And we had to take him to jail. But guess what now, folks? Now it's mandatory. And when they do that, everybody's going to look at you and be like, fuck that dude. You know, but it's not your fault. It didn't matter who it was. They were going to do it anyway. They were just going to pick someone. And it's going to happen like that. That's it.
I'll be streaming live the whole time, by the way, guys. You can follow me on Periscope.
I mean, dog, you're trying to say, hey, I'm just taking the family on a vacation right now. I mean, that's not going to work right now, man.
No, I know. I can just see some people getting stir crazy, man, and trying to go down, that reservoir.
I'm sure they will,
maybe
man.
They just want to say screw it and take the kids. Let's sneak down to the reservoir and go fishing. We got to drive 5 miles down a paved road. And somewhere along the line, Humvee or a cop car pulls them over. I can see somebody defending their right to just want to go down to a
it's
quiet
bound to
fishing
happen.
spot.
You're right. It's bound to happen in some sense.
Hey, Dabu, here's how Mike Periscope.
B's here. I want to welcome B in here as well.
Hey, what's up, B?
Hi, guys.
How you doing, brother? Did you make it home?
Yeah, I made it.
He
Nice.
is the man. He's my hero today.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, I'm glad you're safe, B.
Yeah, that wind was pretty ferocious on the way up, but got back in decent
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's rough.
XL Bones said 6 months ago the government ran a drill in LA with Apaches and people in black suits. And I wasn't there. I didn't catch that one, but that's some good information.
Yeah, so basically, Mike's Periscope of what happens to him would be like, you can't be here. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't.
Yeah. Right. No, it ain't gonna
The
last
last
like
thing you'll
that.
see
It
is
won't last
a
like
black
that.
glove smacking my phone. Yeah.
B, how was
All
your
right,
travel?
if that
I mean,
happens, then you know.
I
Hey,
was
what did you
actually
think?
surprised at how much traffic was on the road going through some of the cities. I mean, obviously the rural areas were clear, but I was surprised. But I'll tell you what, it was strange. Lots of state troopers out there just sitting all over the place.
that ready. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
more than I
Ever
normally
seen.
would
Dude,
notice.
when
Yeah,
I went and got
there's-
my daughter, whenever it was, like a week or so ago, when we left, we was like, dude, they are everywhere. And by the time we got back, got off my exit, they done had people pulled over with like 5 cars, cop cars on them at a time. At these spots, I was like, dude, if this is what it's gonna become, I dread going back out, and I got to do it in the morning. So I'll have a fresh report of what the highways look like going up 75 tomorrow, from what I see. But I mean, they just
Yeah,
sitting
there
there.
was-
Were they
just sitting
but
there.
like just one
Nope.
at a time or multiple?
one at a time, all spread out.
Okay, spread out.
Just watching. Just watching.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye.
Yeah, they're keeping an eye. Martial law reigning in over the stupid freaking what they call the COVID-19 coronavirus. It's got cops fucking hawking everybody on highways. And I mean, doesn't everybody see that this is much bigger than this? Can't you
Yeah.
see? Can't you see this is total lockdown? This is everything you've ever wanted, and this is the perfect excuse to do it.
People are voluntarily doing it.
So, New York can have gatherings of no size and orders non-essential workers to stay home, which is a ton of people, as we were talking about earlier. I'm sure the states vary a little bit in what non-essential is and isn't, but for the most part, we went over a lot of those here a little bit ago. We talked about it a little on the show with B as well. You guys might have also heard that to try to fix all these issues out there, they want to send out checks. And this just isn't going to work in my book, because if you've learned anything over time from watching what's happened, just look at our farmers that just got screwed by our government this past spring. When all the floods came through and then the crap with China and the trade war happened, they gave them this bailout stuff and said, oh, everything will be all, we'll work this out, this and that. But the floods damaged everything. When the first bit of that money was gone, there was still no trading. There was still no selling to be done. So this left these people in a very bad position, the farmers. And a lot of them had to give up all their stuff. They lost their farms. They lost all the stuff. And I felt like it was a ploy. Here we are now with the whole freaking country losing their 401ks and all this other shit happening all in the blink of an eye. I mean, it's all happening. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like their dream come true, man. So,
Yeah, they're going to send out $1,000 check to a farmer who really, with his double mortgage on his farm and how much they owe the bank, would really much rather just see like a debt forgiveness program or something. But now here's $1,000 check.
I think those will be more
Can't
things
go
that they
anywhere to
roll
spend
out
it.
is mortgage freezing, and the longer this lasts, the more they're going to take control.
Yep.
And they're going to do whatever they have to do. You see, all those loans are insured by the FDIC. They're going to do everything they can to make sure that all of those loans don't get complete payouts to the banks. So they will freeze mortgage payments. They're going to keep throwing cash at people. You already see they're doing it with the student loan debt. They don't want those to default.
Right.
How many
They
you think are
suspended,
refinancing?
they suspended student
with
loan payments for
0%?
6 months.
Yeah.
6 months, which tells me that, well, I don't know. I don't know what
That
this is.
this thing's
somebody
going to
very
last a
close
whole
to
lot
me.
longer than 2 weeks.
It's going to last a lot longer.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whole lot.
Because at some point, I think they ultimately would like to see this country locked down cold all together at the same time. How they get there is slowly, state by state, without, I think, freaking people out too much. I mean, how much more can you freak people out? They've already cleared the shelves and everywhere.
Yeah.
It's already happened.
We're gonna be able to.
What are you
we'll be
going to
able
freak
move
them out
around
about
again.
anymore? To go out and buy one more round? Pep the market up a little bit more? Every time the market comes up, they sell. They're shorting it. It's them. They're the ones that just took all the money and cashed out and ran. Who do you think it was? Them. They're the ones that just shorted all everyone's 401ks. Them. And that they take your money and they turn around and they say, "Oh, we'll send you $1,000 check." Dude, screw you, McConnell, and all your clowns. All you should be tried in a court by all of us. Hell, we've got a couple thousand here. All meet up and be the jury. And all you demons that sold us out, one by one. That's what needs to happen. When righteousness prevails, that's what will happen. Then off to your cell. Costco stores, they're not accepting the returns of water, rice, and other items. So keep this in mind. They're not taking none of it back because they don't want nothing tainted. So just think about that.
I don't want them to.
What?
I don't want them to have my rice.
Yeah, right. I feel you. And much love, Kaka Silva. Yeah, I know Donald Trump and all of them. They're always in their meetings, or they're always on TV. They're always breathing on each other's necks and stuff. Biden loves to do that too. I mean, they still do
Squeezing
it.
each other's hands.
Nothing's gonna change there with these games, I guess. But yeah, I noticed it, and thank you. So just a heads up there for the Costco's not taking anything back, for whatever reason. Researchers saying that China could have stopped this. 95% of the cases around the world could have been stopped if they would have just acted sooner. If they wouldn't have tried to have covered everything up and lied about their doctors and all this other crap and just been straight up about it. I don't buy this. How are you going to sit there and try to put all the blame on China when our own damn CDC has dropped the ball here in this country and allowed the spread of this shit? Give me a break. You see how much one little headline can do? Someone believes in that outlet that is wrong with it, or let it get embedded into their brain. You have got to use discernment. You wonder why China keeps saying it's the China virus, the China virus. He's trying to plant the seeds in the masses of the lemmings that it's coming from China. And to me, they're doing it too much. He's done it too much. It's too much for anyone that's awake. Now you're like, oh shit. Now I'm really thinking y'all did it because of what you're doing. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It was probably, in my book, Mossad or anyone, to be honest with you. This is a world stage. The world leaders are in on this together. Until you get that, you are sleeping. Xi Jinping went to Western colleges. One of his best friends is Henry Kissinger. Wake up. Rothschild's been controlling China for decades, ever since Mao. You know what Mao did? He took the guns and he murdered millions. Some of you need to do your damn research. You would know this is a game. You wouldn't sit there scratching your head like, oh, I don't know if he could be friends with Henry Kissinger. No, you do your research and you would see. Okay? Don't take my word for it. For anyone out there that's lazy, don't just take my word for it. Do your research. Prove it to yourself, man. Pick your jaw up off the table afterwards. Like, damn, it's true. You know? Look at this. This is how sold out we are. These politicians and senators get the heads up in briefings and dump all their stock. I told you, they made off with all the money. This is proof. Senator Kelly Loeffler dumped millions in stock right after their coronavirus briefing. Like they all did. Yep. So now we got some names. Now we know who was dumping. We'll see if they get in any trouble, or if it's even mentioned again. Because these
That
players,
shit ain't never gonna come up again.
never.
Never.
Hawaii's senator believes that he contracted the virus in Vegas. And Vegas is now announcing that they're low on supplies. I guess they want a big bulk of this millions that the Trump administration is now saying is out there for the people. Yeah, inner city rogue. Watch Kushner for sure. Why do I say that, folks? If you missed it the other night, Israel has been working on a coronavirus vaccine for the past year. That's right, long before of any breakout, long before an event 201. And Kushner and his partner group are the main investors in it. You better wake up and smell the damn coffee. Okay? NYC, and that's Mr. 666 Fifth Avenue himself. He owns that. You can't make this up. That's who Kushner is. Okay? NYC urges limits on the virus test. So they just came out and told us that millions should have been opened up here. And if these were high priority areas, they should have had them. But yet, they're saying no. Limits on the test, saying that they got a shortage on the equipment. How's that? Where's the breakdown? Who drops the ball from the warehouse to get them here? How? Like, it's ridiculous. So NYC continues to explode, and I'm telling you, they're trying to turn it into the video game, The Division. Meanwhile, Mike Pence Stafford tests positive. You know what this means? This is setting the stage to literally send these guys into a bunker or into hiding or indoors in the open, right in front of your face, for their protection. Out of sight, out of mind, gone. As soon as it gets, look how close this is getting. All the congressmen are around, staffers. They're trying to say that they fortunately were not around. This is dangerously close and up into the White House.
I was going to say, didn't you say it was Pence staffers
Yes.
specifically? So
Yeah.
his dad and his staffers. I mean, it's all around.
Yeah, they're all around. They're working with them in and out of the White House on all the wings. I mean, it's one big house, the White House. I mean, I don't care what wing it's at. You got that coronavirus person inside the West Wing. Anywhere, I mean, you're in the East Wing, I'd be freaking. Like, get out of here, you fools. But, you know, they've all got the antidote in their pocket, so they ain't worried about this shit. It's always like that. All this is just like we've seen with other stuff, with the SARS, H1N1, AIDS itself, MERS. We talked about NYC just issuing everything that they're putting everyone under. Pennsylvania doing the same, locking everyone down cold. California, the governor issues a mandatory stay-at-home order. Exactly what I was just saying. Now listen to this. They are projecting that 56% of the population is infected with this coronavirus within 8 weeks. They're saying that half of their population in California within the next 8 weeks is going to have this, and they're already in lockdown mode. So you tell me, how do you expect, if you're already going to, if you're planning to put everyone in lockdown now, then how the hell are they going to get infected in the next 8 weeks? Something's not right here. But see, something's not been right here the whole time. Right at the gate, for anyone that was paying attention, you started asking questions like, hold on, how did these first people in California get it that never went anywhere? They're calling it community spread, but that's some garbage. It's like a magic trick. Then it's the same thing in Iran. And if you looked in Iran, they're piling up in Iran. The body's dropping, like someone's infected every 10 minutes. They're dying left and right.
But the Iran one doesn't make sense at all, according to their narrative, under quotations, because San Francisco and northern Italy have the largest Chinese populations in the world outside of China. But where does Iran come into play?
They don't, they're targeted. Obviously. That's how you know who's behind this. You know, well, dude, Pompeo last week looked at Iran. And said, well, if you just come to the table here, we'll help you with the virus. How
Yeah.
can you help them? He's got the antidote in his back pocket. I mean, dude, I see it for what it is, man. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, man, what's happening here. And they're doing it on us, too. Well, Kushner's invested into the big Israel vaccine for this. You better watch out, man. Ah, man. 8 weeks, they expect half of California to be infected. That means the next 2 freaking months is fitting to be a bumpy ride, folks. If not more. By design. I don't want it this way. I want this shit to go away. Just like you. But it's not going to. And turning the cheek at this point and sticking your head in the sand ain't going to do you no good. You're just going to get ran over. Okay? Be proactive right now. And I'm sure in the coming days we're going to start to see all these clips accelerating of military in the streets, people getting messed with, checkpoints going up. And look at this. This is what's in that video game, The Division. Look up one of these triage air bubble things. You walk into this tube before you get into the building and you go through sprayers. Just like in a damn video game. It's insane, dude. They knew about all this stuff. They've embedded it everywhere. The Swiss government bans gatherings of more than 5 people. So, we started off at 50, then they dropped it to 10. And then, everyone's... Shit, NYC just said all gatherings. It's done. See, that's what it gets to. Start at 50. End-game result is none. So, Swiss is at 5. You already know. End-game result. So, they're shutting things down there, saying that it's spreading fast. The death toll in Spain surpasses 1,000 after spiking by 200 in a day. Do note that a majority of these patients are elderly, in the elderly age, and these are people in an age group that seem to have an underlying issue that just something comes along, and it's just enough to come along and knock them off. In this instance, Italy reports a record number of new deaths. A record number. Italy. I don't know if I said Israel. Italy. With 627 in one day. 627 in a day. Yeah, the numbers are jumping up there, especially in comparison with what we were seeing coming out of China. So, China's one thing. I don't trust them at all, communist Chinese and all their lies and deception. And I'm going to show you how they're lying here in a second and prove it a little bit. Italy's a different story. It's way more open. Got people that go to and from there. Got people that got family and roots there and everything else. It's way more open society. Information's way more open and flowing and not totalitarian locked down in a sense as it is in China, especially with social media and everything else. And we've seen a lot openly of what's going on in Italy. But, one thing I will say is this. Right out the gate in China, they were telling us, you got to burn the bodies. And they were burning bodies. Nowhere else have I seen since is saying this. Nowhere. Don't act like it didn't happen, because it did. They were burning bodies, saying that the bodies had to be burnt. Yes, they did. That is exactly what the game plan was. It's what was happening. So now, in Italy, it's just a lot of funerals. And I'm sitting here like, how has this changed? If you can't have a funeral, how is it any different just going to the boot, going to Italy? Huh? It's not. Something's definitely different here. Now, this is a big experiment. I'm warning you. And the world powers are watching this play out. Every country's different. China could very well have this thing sewed up in the bag or be lying. It's hard to tell, but they're a major player here with this new world order. Don't you ever forget it. They allowed them in the IMF basket for a reason, and allowed them to march across the globe with this Belt and Road Initiative for a reason, without firing a shot and stopping them, and they allowed them to drape 5G technology across the whole freaking globe, except for the United States, without firing a shot. They let them. Okay? See how that works? They love the way they control their people. They love the way of the communist mentality, the way the Xi Jinping and then that regime will do whatever. So you know, we'll see how this thing shakes out here across the globe in the coming weeks. But I'm telling you, I'm going at story by story here, country by country. They're all going down. Paris, the next one. Police restricting movements. Come on now. Should have seen this one coming. All gatherings in the city center are going to be prohibited here moving forward. All big gatherings, just like we've seen elsewhere in other places. They'll be using military troops there next. Germany says they're running a test Saturday. They're going to see what happens if people continue to socialize on Saturday night or if they listen. And if the young people go out to the bars, they party on Saturday night, guess what? Germany, you're getting locked down. What a fucking setup. And that's what they're saying openly. Give them a cheap excuse to go climb it. So, Cascadia, thank you for the Ninja Genie. To the fullest. So, Germany about to go on full-blown lockdown as well. Country after country. What they're about to achieve at some point. You have got to understand 3/22 coming up is a huge day for them. I don't see the whole world being locked down at that point. I think this is a slow rollout. But coming up as well, you've got another key date. What Hitler's birthday was 420. And 420 aside, it's a date there. May 1st. May Day is a huge satanic holiday. Okay? If this thing rolls out to then, will we be sitting in a situation on that May Day, May 1st, where damn near the whole freaking planet, including all 50 states, is locked down? What are we going to do if power goes down here during this test? Didn't so much happen to China or Italy that we see yet, but we're all different petri dishes. And I've seen some information tonight that is shocking. In terms of communication, I've tweeted out a ton of it in images from Cox Corporation, internet providers. These are coming from big corporations that are telling people what's happening, what to expect, telling them to get their friends and family ready. All that I've seen are at least 30 days. They're warning them. They know something. They know something. People are getting sent emails and letters that are telling them, get ready for this responsibility. Our number one responsibility is to get fuel and to make sure that backup generators are fired up and the communications are back up and running as quickly as possible. And I'm like, hold on. None of that makes sense. That you only talk like that if you expect the power to be going out. Why would the power be going out? I'm telling you what, dude. I'm telling you what, Kev Barr, welcome to the show.
Good evening, everyone. How we doing?
Making my way through the headlines here, brother.
All right, I'm going to mute out and listen.
Well, thanks for joining us. Chime in whenever, brother. Kev Barr himself, one of the many out there already affected job-wise by this, like many of you. Feeling the pain already, and this little check they're talking about sending out to people ain't going to do nothing. I'm telling you, man. Come May, this is going to be a very tricky situation here. Here's the proof that I've got, and it comes from the people that are getting information out of China, folks that are Chinese, American Chinese, and everything else, people that work for different places that can get information out. They're like, look, I've got friends and family that are in there. This is what's really happening. They're just telling the world. They're telling the news outlets. It's propaganda, obviously. They're telling them whatever they want. They're telling them what they want them to hear. But on the ground, it's a whole different story. So they tried to say the past 2 days, no new infections. And I know all of you seen it. Yesterday they tried to say, progress. No infections. Now today they're trying to say second day in a row. No new infections. Really? Well, when you go down here, just like this woman says, it says, where are all the users from the Chinese mobile network? If everyone's back to doing their stuff, it shows that 8.1 million people are missing, if that's the case. Then it goes on to show notices that have been sent out to residents saying that there was one confirmed case at the Golden Elegant Garden on March 17th. It gives all the information on it. They tested positive. It's all right there. And that's just one example of the many that she cites here of their lying. I mean, all the people on the ground know what's happening, but of course it's telling the world, whatever. So when you see, I don't care where it's coming from out there, when they're trying to say that they're claiming this or they're saying this, notice what they say. They're claiming. They're claiming. Discernment here. Beijing's claiming. It's because it's a lie. They're in on this. I'm telling you, man. The world stage. We call it that for a reason, man. Here in Kentucky, I had to unfortunately cancel our knowledge conference weeks ago, the day that they announced the state of emergency. And that knowledge conference would have been going down tomorrow. I'd be reporting right now from the location because I had it for 2 nights. A bunch of us did. A bunch of us would actually probably be hanging out together right now. And we're not. Our one big time and plan meet up to get a bunch of people together, like-minded individuals, to talk about all this crazy shit. They snipped it. Right there.
Pizza.
We got in last year's, man. But right now, this is our only way. This is our way of communication, obviously, with everyone locked down and more continuing to get locked down. I'm very thankful to be in this position and to have access to be able to get this message out to people still. I'll do everything in my power to keep this going, no matter what. I've got backup solar power generators. Even if they take an internet on the ground here, I've got, mobile I could try to kick over to. I'll do everything I can to try to get signals up and out to the best of my ability. But let's just hope that a power outage isn't in the works. And if it is, this timeline looks like everything is set to start curving or coming back to normal, so to speak, maybe beginning of summer. June-ish, right? Maybe. Hopefully. But I tell you what, dude, if it's June, everyone's low on supplies. Months from now, power's gone down in places. It's scorching hot. No one's got AC. It becomes a whole different ball game. A whole different ball game. Here in Kentucky, the past few days, a guy ran out of the hospital and went back to his house, and they surrounded his house, and then they stayed there. They didn't go in and get him. They just sat there. And it made me think, shit, anyone on that street now in a lockdown situation tries to leave or make a move, they're going to get busted because they're being babysit already. Now, granted, the guy was acting crazy. If you are a tainted individual with any major disease, you don't need to be spreading it to other people. It's just as bad as the freaking kids spitting on food at stores. It's ridiculous. But a lot of this is getting spread unknowingly. And just like this instance right here, 40 members of the Pulaski County Church here in Kentucky are quarantined now because one individual, 59-year-old woman, test positive, and she felt fine while she was there during the congregation and everything else. But everybody that was at her church is now under quarantine. I want you to think about that. How quick and easy this can go. Imagine they've got that you were at church this past Sunday, exact same situation, and somebody had coronavirus. I don't care how big or how small of a church, you're all getting quarantined. And every damn one of your family members. Anyone that you came in contact with between then. You see how quickly this dominoes? And everyone just gets locked down. The jobless claims explode. We just mentioned it. I mean, look at the graph. The unemployment insurance is going through the roof. Straight up in terms of people filing for unemployment right there. And those applying for unemployment. Straight up in the air there. And it's going to continue.
One of the sad parts about the unemployment thing is if you're not actually unemployed, like a lot of these businesses, even though they're being ordered to shut down their kitchens, these employees are still being considered employed, but on like a furlough or, various other different terms, but still employed. So at the end of the day, a very large portion of these people that are filing for unemployment will not get unemployment.
You're damn right. It's just it, dude. We're getting robbed bad.
I'd better get my unemployment.
Yeah, he better. if people get screwed like that, put out in the street, dude,
You better make sure your business that you work for had actually laid you off and not just took you off the schedule.
we're getting
I'm
reports.
pretty sure they got my back.
We're getting
Well, I would hope so, but that's the technicality that I'm hearing about locally is that these businesses are taking people off their schedule just because what's going on. They're still operating, with like takeout business or delivery business, as far as like, restaurants would go. as an example.
Yeah.
But they're just removing them from the schedule. They're just not laying them off.
Right. Well, from what I've talked to them, and if they contact them, then they're going to confirm that I'm not working. So
yeah.
here's the thing, though. When here in West Virginia, I don't know what it is. Other places, you also have to agree to look for work, and that's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. In this crisis, you want us to be out and about looking for work. That's
Right.
not-
Yeah. In Ohio, you
One
have
is-
to have, when you're on unemployment, you have to go to job interviews and have the interviewing manager sign a paper showing that you are actively
Right.
seeking
Right.
employment.
Similar here,
Yeah.
but they want everybody to stay put. So I'm just wondering if they're going to relax that requirement.
Sure, a lot of things are going to change and have exceptions for what's going on right now because they do ultimately want you to stay home. And the only way to keep people at home and not rioting or looting is to make sure that they're getting government checks, whether it's from the unemployment, office or just the treasury. They're going to start.
Chance,
They're going to start
Right.
shelling out. They're going to start shelling out Trump bucks.
Chance, before this pops off the screen and it disappears here, it says 1 day ago, Nat Geo says a chunk of Yellowstone the size of Chicago is pulsating. 5.0 earthquake just hit a bit ago in Carson City, Nevada, and a 5.7 just the other day in Salt Lake. Those are good points, and thank you for that. I'll have to check the quake maps here.
Hey, I got some updated info about West Virginia. I
Yes,
put a
let's
link
drop.
in knowledge if you want to look at it, or you want me to tell you.
Yeah, go for it. Fire it off.
Okay. West Virginia cases. This is from the page from the Health and Human Resources. 8 positive cases. Total negative cases so far, 330. No deaths and 2 tests pending.
That's weird.
Wow.
They're giving statistics for negative test results.
Yes.
See, Ohio has been getting criticized for that because they refuse to release the amount of negative tests coming back. They're only
Really?
they're only giving the numbers for people that test positive and the people that are hospitalized and the people that are dead. They're
Right.
not giving they're no longer saying how many people they've tested.
Right.
Look where the earthquake hits. Right there at the Northern Nevada Correctional Center.
Huh.
See, they closed Yosemite National Park.
Counties affected are 1 in my county, 1 in Jackson County, which is just north of me, 2 in Jefferson County, 1 in Mercer County, and 1 in Monongalia, and 2 in Tucker County. So there's 1 positive test in my county and 1 in the county just north of me.
Well,
Yeah.
you're not on lockdown yet, so that's the good
Yeah,
news.
that's
We're up
true.
to 6 states.
Yeah, but
6
it's
states.
coming, man. I mean, he's done put out of a job and everything else with everyone else. At this point, everyone needs to prepare, man. Do everything you can.
Well, I got backup. I've got a place I can stay if worse comes to worse. So,
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Because it may
California,
be
New
needed.
York, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and
Thing
Oregon.
is if non-essential travel kicks into play where you're at, you're gonna have to make a decision quick if you're gonna stay where you're at or you're gonna get to where you're talking.
it's true.
You know, this is a situation all kinds of people are gonna be facing, and they can happen at any time, any day now. Any one of our states could
I
make
didn't
this
even
announcement.
know. I had no idea Arkansas had exploded the way that it had until today. I mean, it's happening so fast that it's hard to keep up even with my own state. You know, we share this information that we're telling with you guys all day, 24 hours a day. Somebody in this group is sharing something in our group chats, and it's still hard to keep up. You know, I'm glad I found out that there's one in Jasper, that several cases in Arkansas. So that was like
testing
60
for it's
68.
key. I mean, you don't know where it's at till you test. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how much is really around you till you start testing everybody. I mean, Jersey just opened up a drive-through today, and it got overwhelmed. They swarmed it. People were packed trying to get in, and had to close it down temporarily to calm it down, to get all those people through there tested properly. But
well, the Arkansas governor closed schools for an additional 3 weeks as of today, so they're getting a 6-week break as of right now, or have to do their stuff in a different way from home.
When it comes to being ranked around the globe in terms of countries who are best prepared financially, medically, you're talking with epidemiology, the workforce, biosecurity, preparedness, and emergency field, in the response and planning field, the United States is at the top. Right behind them here globally is the UK, followed by the Netherlands, Australia, Canada, and then Thailand slightly behind them. So those are the top ones they have listed. China, down here in the middle. India, other countries you can see in the middle. But you're going to have countries on the low side of this that don't have look, if I guess my point is this. If we're the United States of America and we're at the top of this list and we don't have enough testing at this point, and we know it's a setup, but if we don't have enough testing, how is South Africa going to have enough freaking testing? They don't, and they won't at this point. Until they try to lock down that area. Till they're like, oh shit, thousands of people. We've seen them use South Africa as their guinea pigs before. That's why I say Rockefeller's even got caught with a damn patent out of a lab that they had out of Africa itself. And that was for Zika. Google, Facebook, and the tech companies are reportedly in talks with the U.S. government to use our location data to stop the virus. This is Business Insider now. We had heard that, Italy? Italy or France, one of the two. They ordered their two biggest, no, it wasn't neither. It was the UK, my bad. The UK ordered their two biggest cell phone providers, and Beat has dropped out. Hopefully he'll be back in here. Their two biggest to cough up data so they could track, so they could make sure people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So if Google and Facebook take this route, potentially all your movements, all your data of where you go, where your phone's pinging off of every tower, the government's going to have it. And if they find that your cell phone's pinging on, let's just say, 2 different towers, let's just say 3, if those are red flag, any one person in a lockdown pings 3 times, they get flagged. You're smoked. This is easy with this technology. This is very easy with the technology that they've got, what they've set up here. I really feel like that's why I'm calling this big beta. This is like you've never seen before. Let's hope to God we get out of this.
Did you catch the press conference today? Anyone? I know Case shared it on her channel.
I was busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please fill me in.
Well, it was typical mumbo jumbo. But one point, I think might have been Secretary of Homeland Security. Not real sure. He said this is a live exercise, and I just found that wording to be interesting.
Who said this?
It was one of the guys in the press conference.
Dude, if you can get any links to that, let me know.
Yeah, I'm assuming he means it in the context of they don't even really know what to do. It's like a live drill. It's like a
listen to you make an excuse for me, douchebag.
Yeah, I have to hear it. No, I'm not. I'm not. It all depends on the context, and the only real way to do that is to listen to it. You can't judge
Right.
anything.
Yeah,
on
you're right
here.
there. No, you're right there.
You're right. You're right. I'd have to go back and look
Yeah.
at it.
But you did listen
Yeah.
to it, and you're sitting there telling me that it was in that context. So I mean, what the? I
And,
mean,
you know, yeah, I just like to hear it. That's all.
yeah, me too. That's why I said if you get it, man, let us know. Drop it in there. I want to see it because I'll share it with everybody, and then we'll see what he said.
Right. I'll go over
I didn't mean to
again.
call you a
Right.
douche, Mike. Not lying. I could say
No,
that
it's
to Mike.
okay.
I could say that. I
Sometimes
could
I
say
am.
that to Mike jokingly, like maybe behind the scenes, and it's
Sometimes
cool.
I
But
am.
if I say it live, it's a little bit different. And people are like,
Oh,
man.
listen, man, I got Philadelphia blood.
But Mike's
Lebanese
got thick
blood.
skin. He
I
takes
can take a
he
ball
takes the
busting
hardest of
better
everything I
than
throw at everyone, and he doesn't bitch out, so to speak. He already
Yeah.
he always knows it's. And
Yeah. Your boys bust your balls.
Oh, we got
That's just the way it
watchers
is.
in
Your
here,
boys and
man.
your girls. Watchers.
we get a treat.
I did.
Hey, watchers.
Oh, hold on a second. I was gonna say I still had my the chat still or the show still open in D Live, so it was doubling up. I was confused at what's going on. But I did watch that press conference. It was the acting director of DHS that said it. Trump also did say the Deep State Department that made
That was all in the same stuff.
all in the same press
Oh,
conference. I
dude, that
watched
was
it,
no mistake then. I heard about the deep state thing too today and didn't get a chance to see it. Now you're both telling me it came out of the same speech. Get out of here.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
He did, and there was a couple things that
Thank you,
took
Vicky.
me off guard where he had repeated the same thing multiple times, almost like a stutter, except he was stating the exact same thing like 2 or 3 times before he would go on and elaborate. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was some things in that speech that seemed a little bit off that Trump said.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that one.
I can't put my finger on it right now, but he would say something, he would say it again, and then he would say it a third time, and then go in and elaborate it.
Was it an official White House press conference?
Yes.
Okay, so technically we could replay it as long as it's from the White House website or the White House YouTube page and not get a
yeah.
strike for it, right?
I'm
yeah,
assuming
yeah.
As
we should
long as
probably.
it's from the official page.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I would. Anybody can probably go to whitehouse.gov, not whitehouse.com, whitehouse.gov, and go to their live stream archive, and I guarantee you that it's in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good information there.
And I think it was like
Yeah.
11:51 Eastern time was when it launched. I was sitting there at the watching it on CNN, and yeah, there was some things in there that kind of just threw me off a little bit.
I bet.
Trump also ripped into one of the reporters, which turned into
I did see that clip. I did see a clip of that then today. He said that something about him not even being a good reporter, like tore
Yeah.
into him. I saw that clip, so it was that speech there. Okay, I know which one you're talking about then now. I did catch that little bitty clip of it, but none of the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that irritates me the most. That becomes the news instead of the information that's inside the press conference itself.
Yeah.
So a reaction that Trump has with a reporter becomes news, but
Gets blown up.
the information doesn't become the news. Just his reaction to some fucking douchebag that's sitting in the in the audience asking questions.
Yeah.
Asking
Bells and
stupid
whistles
questions, to be completely honest. I mean, it was a question when I was watching. I was like, why would you even ask a question like that? Like, that's just dumb. It was basically like the dude was asking if Trump trying to downplay this was an attempt to reassure and spur confidence within the entirety of the population. It's a fucking self-explanatory question. Like, of course, him trying to create a sense of calm that's exactly what it's for, is to try to calm people down, to try to get people to stop rushing out to the banks and withdrawing all the cash from the banks, try to stop people from ransacking the grocery stores day in and day out, trying to calm this stuff down. Because I was having a conversation earlier today with one of the guys that I'm working with, and he was saying that all of these people that have fat bank accounts went and bought 3 months worth of groceries. What about all of the people that live paycheck to paycheck that were waiting till Friday to go out and grocery shop for the next 7 days?
Right.
There's nothing.
Right.
They're screwed. These people are screwed. They have no food. So
yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the
I
clips,
understand
man.
prepping is important, but
Should have been doing it this whole time. That prepping is an overtime thing, not a last minute thing.
Exactly. And the people that all ran and ransacked the grocery stores threw a whole bunch of their brothers and sisters under the bus.
Well, the herd went right. I want to welcome Kay to the panel as well. How you doing?
Hey, I live streamed that press conference on my channel today.
Oh, we'll go there and we'll check it out then. Nice.
Yeah, that's where I saw it.
Go check out the replay of on her channel then. So, if you guys want to see
Posted it in the group chat.
Cool. I appreciate
Because
that.
I want to say that it was a long one. It was well over an hour, I want to say.
Yeah, it was pretty long.
I was busy as shit today, running around.
I was busy doing stuff while I was streaming, so I didn't even really get to hear it. So
Definitely want to go back and watch them.
I don't typically live stream mainstream media press conferences, but something told me to snap it.
Dude, look. We're going to have to pay attention to these declarations. Trump just made another one. And I'm just wondering at what point it's the wording here. He just declared a major disaster in New York. So he just did that. States that have issued a stay-at-home order are now California, New York, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Oregon, with others close to follow like Jersey and things like that. Because somebody just told me 8,100 troops now coming in Jersey. They're expected to be used to enforce everything in here. They're expected to get locked down here within 48 hours. Maybe by 322, I'm sure.
You heard about the vaccine, right?
What part? About what?
Last night, it was about 3 a.m. Joanne Steen, I don't know if you remember her, but she was live on her channel. And within 3 days, they've already created a vaccine in just 3 days. And they're going
3 days of what?
3 days. They created the vaccine in just 3 days for this coronavirus.
Who did?
I guess the CDC. They've also they're going to start clinical trials in a month, and they said within 3 months it'll be available to everybody.
That's awful darn quick.
Yeah.
That's
But see,
awfully quick.
I want to know more about this cancer medication that he was talking about on his show last night.
Chloroquine?
Apparently one dose holds it off for 4 days, and then I forget the details of the doses after that, but apparently it is been an absolute miracle drug for COVID-19.
You know, it's also an autoimmune suppressor, correct?
No, I don't know much about it, but it is a cancer medication, so yeah, it makes sense that it is.
And this was one of the things that they were talking about in that press conference, also.
Mm-hmm.
Destroying America and bringing it down by design. These son of a bitches, dude. I'm telling you. I got a shout out here from Simply Here on YouTube saying that a neighbor is a sheriff's deputy. He just received a memo from DHS today stating that a 7-day lockdown is imminent in a small Texas town. He said a day was not provided. Yeah, it's repeated. Anything from 7 to 30 days on all this official stuff that I've seen. I've got I'm going to say this now. I've got some information that some of the Alphabet Gangs have a timeline that goes out to the end of May. And when I get a green light and I get a return back and a little bit more info, I'm going to be putting some information out. So, I mean, you just have to stay tuned for that. When people send me all this info, sometimes they send me info and they're like, look, don't show anybody, but just know. And other times they're like, here, post it. I'm waiting on just some feedback on somebody to send me something to see if I can get all this together. But just know that timeline goes out to the end of May. So then near the beginning of April. And it specifically talks about power outages, which is very weird because we haven't seen that anywhere else. And this is a division that deals specifically with it and with getting the communications back up quickly with generators, fuel, who has to get the fuel, all this other stuff. So, thank you for that information simply here. And anyone and everyone out there that sends in info our way, it is appreciated to the fullest. And as always, you never know who's going to be in and out in here. Kev Bart is chiming back in. Go ahead, Kay.
I've got family that works for the water company. They said water will not be shut off as of right now. There are no plans to shut it off.
Right. It's supposed to be an essential thing. I've gone out of my way, to make sure that we've got water here. But I got to catch it and clean it and everything else. Power and electric, that's a whole other animal for all of us. I don't know what happens if they do that. This is a huge test, guys. It's the only way I know how to put it. This is a huge test, man. It's crazy. We're in it.
And I wanted to say something before it slips my mind. Kay, I wanted to reiterate one of the things that Mike had said a little bit earlier about live streaming. As long as the official press conference is from the source, directly from whitehouse.com or the White House YouTube channel, it's public property, meaning that you can restream it. But if it has the lower thirds, the scrolling banner, like from any of the MSM outlets, and you load it up on YouTube or you load it up on any of the other streaming platforms, it will probably get flagged and catch a strike. So just keep that in mind for future. I don't know what you had streamed, and everybody else out there.
I believe it was abcnews.com, and I was told as long as it's a public news source, you can stream it without being struck. So
the problem though is the networks are not public. They are private companies.
They've hit me. They hit me with hitting their news station. I caught a UFO off of Oklahoma news station weather. They were two ladies just sitting there. UFO goes down by the highway right there in their cam. Insane footage. And they end up coming after me on it. And I fought it. Like Kay's saying, I fought it under fair use. And lo and behold, I couldn't believe it. They released this son of a bitch back to me. I was so scared when they did it. I thought they would just hit me again. So I removed it. I was like, dude, y'all are scandalous. Y'all have done it before.
Just keep in mind anything that comes from the White House press room, any of the state government press briefings, go directly to their site. They should have a live streaming tab that shows the archive of every single live stream that they have ever done. And get it from that, because it's a clean feed that doesn't have any, because the strike doesn't come from the content, the video stream. It comes from the lower thirds, the banner that's across the bottom, and the logo. That's the copywritten material. The White House logo, the state logo, any of the seals, that's all public. That's all public property. So just keep that in mind, and everybody else that does streaming, keep that stuff in mind for protecting your channels. As long as it comes from an official public source, being a source of the people, the government or what have you, then it is not property that can be struck, and you will win any kind of copyright rules. because that stuff is your property as a citizen of the United States.
It's like when me and Dee got those copyright strikes for the JFK speeches. You know, I got the same thing twice, and he got it once. But you can't copyright, and it was Sony Music that hit us with those copyright strikes. But you can't copyright a presidential speech because he's an employee of the people. Anything that he says or that's written for him is owned by the American people.
Well, and the strikes that you guys probably received, because I had gotten some strikes from an audio track that was laid over top of video. What they're doing is the algorithms, the AI that's going through is preloaded with Sony's music, and if somebody had sampled that section of the audio track into their music, Sony has absorbed that sound, those sounds, those frequency combinations into the algorithm to automatic strike.
Right. And I think that's what it was. It was in a song or an intro for a song or something that was getting ready to come out or something like that. And,
the reason not to use YouTube.
Yeah,
but
you
it's
can
still
find it.
Exactly. You know? And they don't let you talk to a real person until after the second time that you fight it.
You don't catch strikes like that for none of that on D Live when you're live streaming.
Right.
So.
Right. You don't got to deal with none of that.
I want to welcome B back into the show, man. Looks like he had a phone call and he's back.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. You know, during these strange times, I've been getting a lot of phone calls from people that just didn't believe me in the past, and now they're calling like, man, this is crazy.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting a lot of it.
Like, yeah, man, I've been telling you about it for years. It's coming.
Even a sister waking up on my end here that didn't want to believe nothing for years, and now is all of a sudden like, damn, I'm listening. And I'm just like, all right, well, it took this, but at least you're listening now.
Yeah, welcome everybody that's just listening now.
Newly
awake. It's all good.
I've got an article here that talks about the Fed about ready to replace infected greenbacks with clean bills, and we've been talking about the potential of them wiping out fiat currency and money, and I've been waiting to see if this happens, because this would tell me if this is really the big one or not, or if it's coming in the offing still. And it could happen at any time, as we said earlier, but they stand ready to replace any infected greenbacks with clean, brand new bills, which shows that they're not just ready to just do away right this second, which also leans back into my big beta for the meantime.
Well, that's good to hear, because I was starting to get concerned as to whether or not I was going to get a fresh stack of Tubmans.
Well, you know what this means. You know what this means. Sir, you know what this. If this is the case, how do they know exactly which ones are infected? I mean, have to test every freaking bill.
That means they burn them all.
I mean, it's confiscation.
Printing. Yes.
Yeah, they start collecting and releasing. Like they'll collect a bundle of $1 million in $1 bills from an armed, delivery service provider.
As long as it's replaced.
And they'll return it with $1 million of $1 bills.
Well, they have no problem burning money. I've told you guys about the $2 million, right?
They recycle it.
They burn
when
it.
I worked at the bank, we had to send every week. We would have to send any bills that were, bent or just damaged. We had to send it all back to the Fed, and they did something with it and send it back.
They typically burn it and just print more.
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah, that would be a recycling of the currency, but they just burn it. We burned $2 million at my work. They said it was wet money. It was in a flood, so $2 million was no longer able to be used. So it was the FBI. They brought it in. They threw it right in the furnace, burned it.
Wow.
Yep. But it's all on the
imagine
computer.
that.
I mean, I
they
think
kick
right
in
now
your door, grab your money, bust up in your safe, and throw it all in the fire and walk out the door.
Right. Like, what if they discontinue? They would have to make there's a possibility they'd have to create a completely different style bill. Like,
What if
all
they
new
are?
bills only.
What if this
Yeah.
is it?
Right.
What if they put a mini microchip in the bill
Could be.
Right.
so that your RFID reader on your cell phone can always tell and send with the tracking data how much cash you have in your pocket?
Well, we know they
You know,
want to get rid of
microchips
fiat
are-
ultimately, though.
Right.
This is their master
Right,
plan.
and this is
so,
a good lead into it. You know,
step
Get
by
people
step,
used
I
to
guess.
it by-
But they still
They've
got to
already
print their
got-
Tubmans. I better get my Harriet Tubman 20s.
So
I
I was going to
want
say
one.
they've already
All I want is just
got
one.
the foil strip within the bills higher than
Mhm.
the single dollar bill, and all you really have to do is line that with strips of indifferent metals to create the serial number that can be read with an RF reader. I mean, it's
Yeah,
Right. Yep.
simple.
Yep.
Yeah.
Simple.
They might even be able to track it, or they'll just, it might even be a cheap form of money, something just to pass the time until they go fully digital.
Right.
They'll just send us
Yeah.
actual Monopoly dollars.
Well, Trump is actually saying that he's skeptical about locking the whole nation down. I don't know if you guys heard this. He's skeptical on a national coronavirus lockdown. Now, what I've figured out about this here is that when it comes to our troops and our National Guard, state to state, right now they're all controlled by our governors, by our states. If they were to federalize this, as they stated it earlier, what this would do is it would give them control of our troops. But when this happens, they cannot use our troops for policing. It whatsoever. They can use them for all these other things. They cannot use them for policing. But as I said earlier, when we looked at the police getting contaminated, and I warned you what happens when our only line of defense gets contaminated, our National Guard troops. Well, look at this. The last big story I've got lined up here. Pentagon sends 2,600 Europe-based personnel into self-quarantine. 35 test positive. We have National Guard troops sticking their heads in car windows left and right in every city across this country. And then the next car, the next car, the next car. They are basically out there, I'm telling you, with no protective gear, getting it and probably spreading it. And if our troops get this in mass, like they're doing here, and they put them in quarantine, effectively, our whole National Guard is on quarantine. What do you do if that happens? Who do they send in? They send in the UN. And you know what the difference is going to be? They'll be hazmated up. They'll be ready to rock. And you'll see just how big of a ploy this whole thing was. And it'd be too late at that point. Too late at that point. But I hope they don't take it that route. But I hope that this isn't how it keeps unfolding. Because they take down our National Guard troops. It's it. If they're in quarantine, who's going to save your ass, America? Huh? Me and you. Us. That's it. That's all that is left. This is the biggest staged event of our lives. I'm telling you. It's like 9/11 on steroids. They're expecting guard activations to pick up and to rapidly increase. This is Military Times reporting this. Could be used as law enforcement, but as I just stated, if it's federalized, they cannot do that.
I found
So-
odd the military was showing up in black vans.
Very. Oh, here we go. I'm glad you said that. Let's pause this. Shout out to Truth Seeker. Let's take it up here. Got some videos sent in to me. This is insane. Out of Colorado. This is at a Pirate's Cove. It's a place you go in the summer to swim around and stuff. There's a parking lot there, and apparently there's car salesmen there. Well, these two people go through the lot and notice it's like nothing but like decked out, tinted windowed SUVs and all that stuff. So they stop and they ask the guy, are any of these for sale? He's like, no, the police just bought them all. Watch what I show you. All these. Look, and it's both sides. Unbelievable. And we were just told these are police vehicles.
They even have the battering rams.
They even
lights.
have the battering rams.
These are undercovers. Look at this.
All right, put it away.
Unbelievable. The whole parking lot.
There you go. And that's what they sent me. For whatever reason, loaded. So, and like B said earlier, you've got these cops on the highways just posted up. It has begun. That's all I can say, guys. Checkpoints and stops are going to be a real deal from here, especially if you're in a place that has been put on lockdown.
Yeah, I seen a video today. It was super grainy, but it was one of the local state parks here, and it was all the police out there doing crowd control drills. After they closed down the state parks, now they're using them for training drills. So we're gonna start seeing some real weird shit. They're obviously preparing for unrest.
Well, we already know that they use Ozark National Forest as training grounds. The C-130s fly through here year-round, but we saw some interesting activity several months ago with the jets. A bunch of jets came in from the northwest, two V formations of 5, and then about 20 minutes, half an hour later, they started coming right up to my house, my neighbor's house, flying right over and shooting flares.
What did we say when that happened, Mike? They were gearing up for something.
They were gearing up for something, man. I got video of this, and it's pretty insane. You know, I don't know what they were dropping or what they were doing, if they were doing targeting or if anybody out there is former Air Force or knows what the deal is, why they would shoot. There was a series of 3 flares that would come down, one, and then one would come out of it, and then another one would come out of it, and then you had 3 flares coming to the ground. But they were there was a big drill going on nationwide, supposed to be happening at those same days, we found out. So interesting stuff, man. They've been gearing up for a while.
I just added 600 lemon to the chest. There's now 1,000 in there, roughly. I'll bust that open in just a second here as we're giving some final thoughts. I don't know if I showed this one earlier or not, but I meant to have it lined up. I don't remember if I stated anything on it or not, but LA County is giving up on containing the coronavirus. This is a Los Angeles Times. They're telling doctors to skip testing of some patients. We were just told that millions on emergency order, millions of tests were supposed to be sent out. And here, this is the crap that they're saying now. That's per 6:02 p.m. today. LA County giving up on containing. And you wonder why they're expecting 56% of the state to have this within the next 8 weeks. How the hell can it spread that much if everyone's locked down? I'm telling you, this is so large-scale effery. It's insane. But we'll bust open the chest here, guys. Give the page a refresh. Probably take about 30 seconds.
There was a case that showed up positive in my kid's elementary school.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you want to hear.
Yeah.
Now, hold on. Everybody's on lockdown there, though, right?
Right. And they said when they were at school, they showed no symptoms. Well, you're not asymptomatic. You know, you don't show symptoms within the initial, 14 days incubation period?
I mean, yeah, they've done said many people's had it and didn't know it and spread it. Just like the case at the church in Kentucky today. Pulaski County, they said. A woman 59 went to church, didn't even know, was feeling fine. Now everybody that went to church is on quarantine, on lockdown. Can you believe that? That's
crazy.
It is crazy.
And I will tell you, I'm really close to Fort Knox.
What was that?
Oh, I don't know. I heard myself.
I heard you too.
I opened up the app.
Oh,
okay. I'm real close to Fort Knox, and within the past week, it's gone by so fast that I don't even get to catch it, but it sounds like something's falling out of the sky. And it's really, really low. So next time I hear it, I'm going to run outside and try to catch it. But it sounds really low. It sounds like it's like something's just falling out of the sky.
Like an object, like whistling, like making a noise, like falling?
Well, like a jet or something falling out of the sky. Like it's... crashing.
But then nothing crashes.
Right.
Well, you know what used to make screeching crazy noises back in the day, though, were the long B-52 bombers. They made a horrendous sound like an aircraft crashing when they would go by. And they would go by low. So oftentimes if you're looking in the sky trying to see them, went by, or they're over the horizon next to you, over the tree line. And
yeah, it's fast and it's low.
And they're not super fast, they're just loud, but I don't know. If you catch something, let us know, man. That's interesting. Tammy with an I, Ryan Cole, Diggs, Barnabas, Steve. Much love to all you guys there on that chest. Here we've gone again, 2 hours running at it. We're giving you guys the rundown here, man. I try to keep these streams to right around 2 hours. If we're ever going to go longer than that, I'll kick out. But I think I'm going to call it a night here. And maybe throw a host on somebody. And then throw a replay on later. At this point, man, after covering all this, after doing it all day, and then after doing these streams, like, I get to a point, like, right now, like, I'm just, like, spun. Like, what the?
Yeah, I know the feeling, bro. I know.
Like,
that's why people take breaks from this stuff, man. You can't, you can only tell bad news to people for so many days before you need to take a small break, And
that's not fun.
And it holds true over the years. That's one thing I've learned. You can't forsake your family for your passion for sharing this information or anything like that. So,
well,
food for thought.
I'll be refreshed and ready to rock tomorrow.
That's what's up. Are you planning on holding the show tomorrow night?
Yeah, 9 p.m.
All right, so there you guys go. Tomorrow night, for anyone that's looking for a good show, looking to tune in, we'll be over on B's channel. We do it every Saturday over on his channel. It's called After Hours Podcast on DLive. And that's where we'll be. I'll host him, so if you show up on my channel, commenting and you're not seeing a lot in the chat or something, look up top. It'll say I'm hosting, and there'll be a button that say Visit Channel, and you can go to B's channel. That's where we'll be.
So follow me.
So yeah, follow him. Sunday's kind of like a wild card. With everything going on, I've been going live on Sundays just cause. But I mean, if I've got with me, it's how much can I get done outside in a day these days. I got a lot of outside stuff to do. If it's raining, I'll live stream. If not, I'm outside working on Sunday. So we'll be back tomorrow, guys. So I'm going to work on shutting this down. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Ask the Most High to bless all of you that call upon him. You have to ask, or you shall never receive. Don't forget that. Your words are powerful. Setting your sight, your intention on something is powerful. Don't you ever forget that. So much love, guys. We'll see you tomorrow on the flip side. It's been Dabu7 and the crew signing off. Much love. Oh, yeah, and one last word. You catch all the replays on DLive, because more than likely, even this one will be gone off YouTube. Yeah.